Imagine a world before the microchip, before the IPO. We are in California's Santa Clara Valley, but it's not called Silicon Valley yet. It's the Valley of Heart's Delight. Acres upon acres of fruit orchards stretch to the horizon, apricots, plums, cherries. It's 1928. A farmer named John stands in his orchard, looking at a futures contract. This piece of paper promises to buy his entire harvest in 6 months at a fixed price. It's his shield against the unpredictable whims of weather and markets. It's a tool designed for stability, a financial marvel that allows him to sleep at night. Yet, within a year, this very system, this promise of security, will become the engine of his ruin, and the ruin of thousands like him. How did a system built to eliminate risk become the very source of a catastrophic collapse? And more importantly, are we still using its ghost today? The story begins not in the orchards, but in the bustling commodity exchanges of San Francisco and Chicago. Farmers face a fundamental problem. Their income arrives all at once during harvest, but their expenses are year-round. Worse, the price they get for their crop is a total mystery until the day they sell. A bumper crop across the state could crash prices, wiping out a year's hard work. To solve this, a brilliant financial tool is created, the futures contract. Think of it like pre-ordering a pizza. You agree on the price today for a pizza that will be delivered next week. The farmer, John, can sell his future harvest to a cannery or a distributor at a set price, months in advance. This locks in his profit. The cannery, in turn, locks in its costs. It's a win-win, a beautiful symphony of risk management. This system is built on a foundation of trust and physical goods. For every contract, there is a real, tangible crop of apricots growing under the California sun. To make this even more secure, institutions called clearinghouses are established. A clearinghouse is like a trusted middleman in a transaction. When John sells his future crop, he's not just making a promise to a single buyer. He's making a deal with the clearinghouse, which guarantees the transaction. If the buyer goes bankrupt, the clearinghouse steps in. If the farmer's crop fails, the clearinghouse finds another source. It's the ultimate safety net, ensuring the entire system of promises doesn't unravel. This architecture spreads like wildfire. It's not just for apricots, it's for wheat, for cotton, for everything. The financial plumbing is elegant, robust, and seems foolproof. It transforms agriculture from a gamble into a predictable business, fueling an explosion of growth in California's fruit belt. Banks, seeing this newfound stability, eagerly lend money to farmers to expand their orchards, using the guaranteed value of these futures contracts as collateral. A golden age of agricultural prosperity begins, all built on this financial innovation. But here, a subtle and dangerous shift begins. The futures contracts, these paper promises, start to take on a life of their own. Speculators enter the market. These are people who have no interest in ever owning a single apricot. They simply want to bet on the future price. If they think the price of apricots will go up, they buy a futures contract cheap, hoping to sell it later at a profit. If they think the price will fall, they sell a contract they don't own, a practice called short selling, hoping to buy it back later at a lower price. Suddenly, the market isn't just about farmers and canneries. It's filled with financial players trading paper promises backed by other paper promises. The volume of these paper trades starts to dwarf the actual physical harvest. This introduces a hidden flaw, a structural vulnerability. The system was designed to hedge risk on real-world assets. Now, it's being used to create and trade purely financial risk. And to supercharge these bets, speculators use leverage. Leverage is like using a small amount of your own money to control a much larger asset. Imagine buying a $10,000 contract with only $1,000 of your own cash. If the price moves in your favor by just 10%, you've doubled your money. But if it moves against you by 10%, your entire investment is wiped out. It's a double-edged sword. As more speculators pour in, fueled by easy credit from banks, the system becomes a house of cards. The price of the futures contracts detaches from the reality of the orchards. It's no longer about the supply and demand for fruit. It's about market sentiment, rumor, and the flow of speculative money. The tool for stability has become a casino. The catalyst arrives in October 1929. The stock market crashes in New York. Panic rips across the nation. Credit, the lifeblood of the leveraged speculator, evaporates overnight. Banks, terrified of losses, issue margin calls. A margin call is the bank demanding you immediately pay back the money you borrowed. For the speculators who bought apricot futures on leverage, this is a death sentence. To get cash, They must sell their contracts at any price. But everyone is selling, and no one is buying. The price of apricot futures, once a stable benchmark, plummets. It falls far below the actual cost of growing the fruit. The system goes into a death spiral. Now, we return to John, our farmer. He had a contract to sell his harvest at a profitable price. But the buyer, a large distributor who was also speculating in the market, is now bankrupt. The clearinghouse, the supposed guarantor, is overwhelmed. It was designed to handle a few defaults, not a systemic collapse where the value of the underlying asset, the futures contracts themselves, has evaporated. The clearinghouse fails. John's contract is now worthless. He is left with a field full of ripe apricots and no buyer. The price on the open market is so low it wouldn't even cover the cost of labor to pick them. He watches his crop rot on the trees. The banks that lent him money to expand his orchard, using his futures contracts as collateral, now come knocking. With his collateral worthless, the bank forecloses on his farm. John loses everything. His story is repeated thousands of times across the valley. The financial mechanism designed to protect him became the very instrument of his destruction. This may seem like ancient history, but the ghost of this system is everywhere today. The financial plumbing is the same. Look at the 2008 financial crisis. Instead of futures contracts on apricots, we had mortgage-backed securities, complex financial products bundled from thousands of home loans. Just like the speculators in the 1920s, banks and hedge funds used immense leverage to trade these securities, betting on their price. When the underlying asset, the housing market, began to falter, the entire leveraged system collapsed, triggering a global crisis. The mechanism was identical. A tool for managing risk was transformed into an engine for speculative gambling. We see it today in exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. An ETF lets you buy a basket of stocks in a single trade. It's convenient, but many complex ETFs use derivatives, modern-day futures contracts, to create leveraged or exotic bets. They trade paper promises about the future value of other paper promises. We see it in private equity, where firms use enormous amounts of borrowed money to buy companies. And we see it in the world of crypto, where leverage is rampant and the value of assets can be driven by pure speculation, detached from any underlying real-world utility. The paradox remains. The more we create financial tools to diffuse risk, the more we create new, hidden pathways for that risk to concentrate and trigger a collapse. The lesson from the Valley of Heart's Delight is not that finance is inherently bad. It's that we must understand the plumbing. We have to know if we are buying the orchard or just a paper promise about the orchard. So we stand back in that California orchard in 1928 with the farmer John. The futures contract in his hand wasn't just a piece of paper. It was a symbol of a new kind of trust, a trust in a system. The catastrophic failure of that system wasn't an accident. It was the result of forgetting what the system was originally for. Financial literacy isn't about memorizing jargon or predicting the market. It's about understanding the fundamental difference between real value and speculative promises. The central thesis is this: financial innovation will always outpace regulation, and the same patterns of boom and bust, driven by leverage and speculation on abstract promises, will repeat themselves. The names of the assets will change, from fruit orchards to tech stocks to digital tokens, but the human behavior and the underlying financial mechanics remain timeless. Understanding this history is not just an academic exercise. It is our best defense against the next collapse. Thank you for watching.